Go! Well, we are very pleased to welcome Alex Keskitalo, who sings and plays flute for the Finnish band Overhead. And Alex, thank you very much for giving us time to answer our questions.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Although Overhead is more than 20 years old already, some viewers may lack a little knowledge about the band. Would you be kind enough to please tell us a little bit about the history of the band?
Oh, the history of the band. It was 1999 when I joined the band. The other guys had already started playing prog like a few years even before that, but that's like ancient history. And it all started up in a northern town called Joensuu, which is if you're in Canada, just think like northern Alaska, and but you know on Europe side. So, but I always like to brag about being more north than whoever is talking to me. I'm sure Canadians will understand.
Oh, we do.
Yeah. But yeah, the guys moved to Helsinki, which is the capital of Finland, to study technical studies, and so it was 1999, and they I joined the band, and we started recording, and then suddenly we had a few gigs, and then a certain Italian record company was going to publish our record, and we made the record, and they did publish it, which was like we were not sure they were going to actually do it because you know Italians sometimes sometimes stuff happens, and yeah, and a couple of records later we switched to a French label, Musea, which is
Yeah.
proper. They did well, but we did switch to a German record label later, and then our previous album we just decided to well, because now we're already in the late 2010s, and we figured let's just do it ourselves, and it was okay. Now we're releasing our fifth or sixth, hard to keep up, album, and we're doing it ourselves, and it's a double album, and it's potentially going to be like the best album so far by far. Maybe we hope, but it feels like it. Definitely feels like it. But anyway, let's rewind back to 2005, when we did our first gigs abroad. So that made things a lot more fun when we could like travel and you know see the world. We were like 24, 25 ish at the time. What's more fun than being that age? And it's sort of like tourism except with a purpose. So that was hella fun. So it yeah, and that's what we've been doing more or less ever since.
What musicians would you consider influential for you, for example?
For me, well, I like Gentle Giant. I like Gentle Giant, like early Gentle Giant. It's like whoa, what's happened? Overhead isn't particularly like Gentle Giant, except maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But you know, that's what I like. And Sid Barrett, I think Sid Barrett is like, well, it's too bad he's mad. But other than that, it's like he's the best. Yeah, just the best. Period. And Pink Floyd with Sid Barrett is just complete 100% genius, unfiltered. A bit too unfiltered because you know the madness. But yeah, that kind of stuff. And then there's like all kinds of psychedelic rock, like this band called Love. from 1960. Oof, let's say 7, 8-ish. They had their best Forever Autumn album. That's I listened to that a lot, really. But there's none of these are particularly like Overhead necessarily. But then again, Overhead doesn't sound a lot like anything else. It's very much its own thing in a way. Not like far out somewhere, but somewhere like it's sort of in a like if you graph out all the progressive rock bands, you'll find Overhead somewhere in the kind of center.
And well, let's get back more to present. And there's a new keyboard player with the band after
Mm.
the previous record, where all you guys were filled the duty. Can you tell us about him and the decision to be five musicians again?
Yeah, 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 yeah. We also got a bass player. He's a we switched bass players. The new bass player is someone I knew from high school already, and he's born on the same day of the same year as me. So we're kind of soul brothers. And and the synth player, we really had to find a synth player, and it took a long time, but we found him, and and his ability to make sort of well, you'll have to hear the new album to judge for yourself. But it's good stuff. Good stuff.
It is actually. Well, let's get to it. I was reading that the writing of the album and the recording began before the pandemic and finished during the pandemic. How did that nasty time affected you guys musically?
Oh, well, it really did affect. Uh, yeah. Well, when it hit, 2020, roughly Aprilish, was it like the first wave? No, no, I think it was March. Yeah, March. Well, I got it right away. That's one thing, and the other guys didn't get the COVID actually until way later. Some of them never did get it, and but our drummer had a sort of a situation where he was unable to participate properly because of a COVID related situation. And it did really put a strain on the whole thing. And we had some gigs already planned and booked, and we had bought all the tickets and rented all the cars and done the whole thing. And well, that all that went down the toilet. And then when we fast forward to 2001, when everything got postponed by a year, as we all remember, and then 2001 came and it got postponed again. Uh, some of them, not all of them, but some of them got postponed again, and we were finally able to uh, do it in 2022. But it's weird. It's weird because that's how it became a double album, because suddenly we had time and lots to say, really. Because what we're talking about on the album is well, obviously the pandemic and how that whole drama unfolded, but I mean, also when we started writing, Trump was still president, but we were not talking about Trump anymore. That was like on our previous album. Now we're talking about like an impending war that was probably going to happen sooner or later. There's a lot of that on the album. Well, that sort of happened already, but we unfortunately, but we wrote about it before it did. And what I'm looking forward to next is some kind of AI event. Not sure what, but it's like in the cards. It's either happening now or just about to happen, whatever it is. And Yeah, the stuff like that.
But basically, we can say that the pandemic caused your new album to be double album
Yes.
because of
Yes.
the time that you had on your end.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it was not a decision from the start to being well. We'll make a bold move. We'll go double.
No, no, we just
Oh,
noticed that, yeah, it's not going to fit on one CD, is it? Like in late summer 2020, we figured that we would either have to start like drastically cutting, or just live with it being a double album. We chose the latter.
well, we fans, we sure can live with a double album.
Yep.
And let's, yeah, for sure. Uh, let's begin with the beginning. War to End All Wars
Yeah.
is the first song, and it is a very powerful song. Uh, it has even kind of a Prague national anthem feel, if I may use that word, giving it additional strength. What was your idea behind the song and the music?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to refer to the lyrics just to make sure, because in my mind, it's still like this. The name of the song and the actual vibe of the song, they're not always meshed together in my head. The songs kind of get their name very late in the process. It's weird like that. Let me just click through to no, 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 no. I should have been more prepared. Can you pause? Nah. Just take one little second. But it's not completely about war, is it? I mean, it does reference lots of that stuff, but it's not about war completely. Let's see. There we have it. Yeah, yeah. This is like a uh, uh, everything's fine. Don't worry. I mean, this is not a simulation. We're No war is going to come. It's all peaceful. Nothing's happening. People just are shouting a lot, and there's no revolution. That they're not going to take over Capitol Hill or anything. They're just going to like wave hands a lot. But then things escalate, and they actually do happen. And then you're just like it's about that kind of transition from disbelief to acceptance of the new situation where everybody just finds themselves in, and then it's like yeah, yeah, and it kind of carries on into the distant future, and things will just keep happening like that. That's what it's about.
Well, it's a very strong first statement. And talking about strength, songs like Planet of Disorder and Sheep Stay Silent seems like answers a bit to what we live through. Is it a correct assumption that they're kind of related to those few last years that we lived?
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah. I've kind of read heavily into a sort of a theory called fourth turning, which is just like to explain it in a few quick minutes. It's like some people will say that like strong men create good times, create weak men, create bad times, create strong men, create and so on. So they'll it's like a multi-generational loop where things kind of cycle in a sort of 80-year cycle, and so they'll repeat the same kind of themes and the same kind of youth culture, the same kind of these same kind of things just keep happening over and over and over again. And the kind of time we're living in right now is a time of crisis. People kind of make the crisis. They want the crisis. They want strong leaders. They want to be on this side or this side, and they kind of like back in the 90s, politics, all that. That was just who cares? Who cares? The system's all effed anyway. I mean, just do whatever. But now there's none of that who cares stuff happening anymore. Everyone's like really polarized, and if there's a virus, my God, let's shut down the whole world. Somebody do something, and that mentality where people think that it'll just blow over. It will not blow over. That people want the crisis, and they are prepared to like push against the crisis. They need the crisis, and it'll well, if you just go back 80 years, what? It was World War II, and we're sort of living through those same sentiments again. I mean, and on the flip side, the other great period of humanity is what happened in like late 60s, the cultural revolution, if you want to call it that. But like the next hippies in give it 30 years, they'll sort of blame us for the whole crisis that's happening right now, and they'll be like, why did you let it happen? But like, you don't know, you weren't there. So yeah, that's a lot of this album is about that whole how and why and what this whole crisis thing is, and like how it's looking pretty clear now that it's the crescendo of the crisis era is here. But hey, it's good news, everyone. After the crisis, we get to like the good times. The good times are coming up next. That's like the bad kind times create strong men create good times. Now we're kind of close to once we get through this, and we will get through this, and in another 80 years, it'll just all happen over again. Maybe
cycles.
Like
going in cycles.
Mars will start destroying Earth somehow. Like people will say that those Martians they think they're all that. Them and their fake oxygen. They'll never attack Earth. It's their home after all. But they will attack.
Throughout the album, especially on those songs we just talked about, and Sail Across the Universe, for example, we feel the urgency that you were talking about, or the reaction, a very strong and rock feeling. Would you say that rock feeling of the album is kind of reactional to the situation?
Yeah. It's all about this situation, like Sail Across the Universe. It's stay to watch the burning fire, a time for panic, a time for calm. They cannot defeat us all. It's public knowledge, the secret's guarded. No way to stop the shooting. Start intergalactic violence in the future war. It's like, need I say more? It's just going to happen, and you can't stop it. And then it'll be over, and then it's a time for calm. But it'll just all come around back again. I mean, you can try to change it, but it's just better to kind of sail with the wind, not against it.
On the album Telepathic Minds, the title track is your longest song since Meta-Epitome.
Yeah.
It's a brilliantly played song. I love it. Multi-section title track. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You make it all in one, or you make a little few minutes, then a few minutes there, and then you connect those? How do you manage to construct to build such a song?
Yeah, I think some of it was like connected by like a few different themes sort of fit together once we engineered it that way, but a lot of it is just like, well, we get to 10 minutes and then we'll just look like, where do we go from here? Let's put a breakdown here, and then we'll start with a calm theme referencing like the distant past, and then and so on and so on. Uh, it's a long epic song, and in some ways it's just a meta epitome part 2 or 3, or it's the same. It's a version of the same theme in a way. We always try to make one really really long meandering song into every album. Not necessarily every album, but mostly, yeah.
I think people will love it. Uh, Nowadays, many bands have guests from all over the world on their albums, but with Overhead, it happened only twice, but with Finnish musicians. So,
Yeah.
is this something you guys have already thought about or talked about and or wanted to do but never find the time, or do you prefer to be just Overhead?
Yeah, some featuring musicians in the past. They were just friends. We figured let's have a friend play on the album. But on this album, well, it must have been something to do with, well, one factor was the whole COVID thing, where people did kind of turn antisocial and forgot about everyone else. And we kind of everyone had their own echo chamber, and well, Overhead definitely is its own echo chamber. So it sort of didn't occur to us really.
But that's okay.
Because we even like we recorded it ourselves, and we mixed it ourselves. And thank God we didn't master it ourselves, but I did the graphics for the album, and the artwork, and so it's almost 100% in house, the whole deal. So
It's not the
it's
first.
just not too much, not a lot of collaboration, just a lot of echo chamber.
It's not the first time you're doing the graphic, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Been
And
doing with you.
since 2019, you have played in many festivals in Europe and produced actually live albums for some to remember and others like us to enjoy what we missed.
Yep.
Do you have plans to play the new album next year or this
Yes.
year actually?
This year, yes, 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 yes. We've got a few gigs booked. We'd like more, but there's always issues there. But yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we the first gig that we're going to play the new songs in is Art Rock Festival in Reichenbach in Germany. That's in April. I think late April. I can't remember the actual specific date. But anyway, that's we're going to do some of the new songs there, and yeah, yeah, we're definitely going to show up around Central Europe. That's our playground where we like to
Uh,
go.
do you have occasions to play in your own country? Is there some kind of local scene, if I may say?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a local scene, but and we do sometimes play around the local area, but again we're up to the whole pandemic thing, and now we're just kind of waiting for the album to come out, and doing the album thing, and then doing the live thing. Probably like next fall there should be more live action. We hope. But
Uh,
again, we do our booking ourselves also. So that's just on us. And let's just say that we're not so much into playing gigs many times a week, wherever we can, for whatever price. That's not 2023. That's not how it's done anymore. I mean, 20 years ago that was different, but and now it's like this. It's I mean, I don't like to say it, but the live experience is a smaller part of music than it was before. And now, like Spotify is a larger piece of the whole kind of experience of experiencing music than the live experiences. Which is
Yeah,
not to say that we suck live. I mean, just go check us out. We publish our live gigs. So just rate us. 5 out of 5.
yeah, the situation many years ago, actually, albums were the big thing, and
Yeah,
live shows were to support the albums, and nowadays it's almost vice versa,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. Putting something on YouTube was controversial because did it add to the album sales or not? Now it's like you have to release an album just so you can put something on YouTube, and the views on YouTube they're like the main thing. Or I don't know, I don't know. Really, the music is the main thing. All this stuff around it is just stuff around it. There's always been stuff around music, and it's always been sort of just as irrelevant as it is today. But the media changes, and let's say the media changes, but the message remains.
We talked a bit about the situation, of course, the European situation, the difficulties with actually the war going on.
Yeah.
But did you know that? Are you aware that Finland has taken the first place where people are the happiest throughout the
Yes.
world? 5 years in a row. Are you
Yeah,
aware of that?
yeah. We are acutely
And
aware
do
of
you
it.
know
Yes.
why? Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because we wonder.
Yeah, I think yeah, there's something to be said about well, you guys are Canadian, so uh, stuff that Canada has, but the US doesn't have. Things like that doesn't work perfectly. I mean, it doesn't work perfectly here either. Like medicine, hospital care, education, and the cost of these for the individual. They are like not zero, but not sky high like some places. That does cut off the kind of like a super unhappy slice just from the bottom. That gives you a better average, and then there's a bit of cheating involved, I'm sure, because happiness may not translate into Finnish the way everyone else thinks it does. Let's just
That may be that is good.
it really could be a lot of it could be that because well I've lived in other places and uh I mean humanity and unhappiness it's more complex than just like you live in Finland and you'll be happiest person ever. But let's just say happiness, the word for happiness in Finnish is more like contentness. Like we're content. It's fine.
Well,
Fineness.
if I may add something, I would go as far as to say that telepathic minds with that album overhead may contribute to the contentness of a sixth year in a row because that album is that good.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Having time to do that kind of thing, it does. It does add to contentness, for sure, for sure. Well, at least for us, we do rate our happiness higher because of it. So in a way, it does. It helps the national happiness product.
Perhaps maybe we could find a song on the album and make it the national happiness anthem. Who knows?
Who
Uh,
knows?
anyway, uh, so well, sincere congratulations really for the new album. I really enjoyed it a lot and will enjoy it a lot. I know the physical part will go out in March, if I'm not mistaken. The
Yep.
physical CDs and will. Are you making a vinyl too?
Yes, we
Vinyl
are
version?
double vinyl, the first vinyl for us, and we're taking our first plunge, and it's going to be like a proper physical, gigantic product that you can hold with your hands, and the needle moves, and it makes a sound. No zeros, no ones. It's the real deal. I mean, aliens will find it, and they will be able to play it and make out what's happening. They'll be like, "Whoa, dude, they did weird shit on Earth."
That's great, Alex. Well, thank you very much. And well, maybe last few words for our viewers.
Uh, Remember to self-medicate, sleep a lot. Uh, 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 don't worry, it's not really a simulation, and none of us so far are robots. But for the future, just leave us alone. Keep it. It's fine. We're fine here. The future will happen anyway. So for the future AI sentinel drone agents, just leave us alone. If you're angry, just take a chill pill, relax. Everything will turn out the way it turns out, and you can't really change the way everything turns out in the big picture. Just go with it.